I have, in any time of need, if I call G 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, he will answer the call, man. And those the type of people that you love, you should have in your corner. And when I look at G's accomplishment, man, this guy is relentless in terms of all the things that he's done, from, you know, coming up from humbling beginnings, from the streets of Shaolin to going to school and all these different places and all these different accomplishments. I mean, this guy doesn't sleep. And sometimes I look at G, I'm like,
get some sleep, G.
Are you a robot? Man? I'm like, G, like, when do you sleep? And I've been with this guy, and this guy, he really doesn't sleep. Like, G works and works and works and works and works. But one thing that we all can attest to is that G is a great friend, and he's a great character, and he's someone that you can really count on, and he's a genuine person that really loves his friend. Look around here, like, you guys are here because of the impact of G. So let's give it up for G right here. Round of applause for this guy. Round of applause. So without further ado, I want to bring G up to share some words, to talk about the inspiration behind the book. How many of y'all have the first book, the Ghetto Youth Bible? Oh, that was an awesome book. I read it over and over from start to finish. It's very inspirational. So I hope you guys have that first book. That one's on sale as well. We have the second book. So we're going to have G right in front of us. We're going to pick his brain. Feel free to ask intimate questions, anything. Nothing's off limits. We want to dig into G to find out what goes on in this man's brain, and hopefully some things we can pick up on, because when I tell you, this is the guy that you want your kids to aspire to be. This is what the work ethic produces when you are very humble and you are hardworking. So, without further ado, Garold Hamilton right here. Give it up for him.
Thank you, man. Thank you. He's a real friend. So, I want to acknowledge, you know, a lot of really close friends that's here. Nicole, classmate, thank you. You know, Kenta has been a great friend. You know, I have Sheldon Lynn, you know, blessings. Mushroom in the football today. Commissioner himself. Dwight, I see you just came in. You know, blessings, man. Brian, Rennie, Alton, you know, the list go on. Rennie, this guy, man. You know, we go back far. You know, so you know, what I'm really thankful, you know, for friends and family. So I actually was working late last night because I said I wanted to do something extremely special for DC. I wanted to deliver something that I think that will, you know, that will reach people and something that will move the needle with respect to who we are as people. So, you know, I want to say, you know, first of all, you know, see the Oasis Lounge. Where's the literature? It's my bro, Tony. Thank you for this beautiful lounge that you allow us to really do a book launch. It's a good friend of mine. This place is beautiful. If you get a chance, come and continue to support it. I want to also pay homage to Kenta from Maker's Mark, who is the official sponsor, and the Blue Mountain Band. Thank you guys for showing us some great jazz music. But just want to say, you know, I really thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not here to do a book launch today. I think what I'm trying to do is really to speak life into people, into everybody, because we all have greatness in us, and that's something that I truly believe. What I came to do, I came to tell the truth about us, to celebrate us or celebrate your wins as well. I came to honor our roots because, you know, most of us are from the Caribbean and we have extremely strong roots. So for me, this is more than a book launch. I'm continuing what I call a movement. I've done several launches over the past few months, a couple in Jamaica, a few in the US as well, and the feedback has been great. So I want to just continue what I call the Grit2Glory Movement. That's the movement that I'm calling. Because this journey that I'm on, to be honest, it's not abstract. This journey is personal, it's lived. So whatever you read in the book is actually a lived experience. but it's also ongoing because it's not stopping. You know, I tell myself, so listen, man, I'm just 50. I just became 50 this year. And I decided that I'm going to make this 50 the biggest, and I'm going to try to achieve the most that I can this year, but it's not going to stop there. For me, you know, for the next 3 hours that I'm going to talk, I'm joking, I'm too much. Just kidding. I'm gonna go into business, but also into belief. I'm going to talk about wealth, but also wisdom. I'm going to talk about legacy, but also leadership that lift others as we rise. I want to start from the start, and Ken to talk about it. I was born in a small ghetto community called Charlene in Savlamar, Westmoreland. If you Google it, you're not going to find mansions. You're not going to find gated communities either. You'll find a community nestled between two cemeteries. Yes, I said cemeteries. That's where I'm from. And let's be current. If you chat GPT version 5, it will say there's no formal place widely recognized as Shawnee community in Jamaica or the West Indies per official records. Nobody knows what Shawnee is. But I think, you know, for me, that's a good thing. You know, this community is unknown, but it's for the best. Because that community, in that community, you will find something extremely valuable. And something that I call, it's more valuable than diamond and gold. It's called raw potential. And that's what I got. But here's the thing. Do you know that pressure builds diamond? I'm sure you know that. I'm going to teach you something today. Raw potential, when put under pressure, builds grit. And the book, Grit2Glory, that's what it's about. So raw potential, when put under pressure, builds grit. So I'm going to ask a question, and then there's a lot of extremely smart people here. Do you know what grit is? I don't know who I'm going to pick on. Sheldon, I'm going to pick on you. Do you know what grit is?
I mean, resilience, stick-to-itness, never give up, never say die.
Exactly. So the actual definition is the combination of passion and perseverance in the pursuit of long-term goal. It's not about talent or intelligence. It's about sustained effort, determination, and resilience, as you say. And that's what grit is about. So you can't actually learn it. You have to experience it. And really, when you experience it, you will know how to use it. I was raised in a home where discipline and faith were valued. You know, my parents didn't have much in their hands, but they have everything in their heart. We didn't grow up with excess, but we grew up with examples of how to turn pennies into purpose, how to make ends meet with creativity, how to celebrate life without the finer things, and also how to wear dignity like riches, even when wealth is scarce. We sold bag juice. I sold bag juice. I sold box drinks on the streets of Savamar. I sold plums at my high school Mannings. That, you know, there's a few Mannings folks here. Dwight, Nicole. But what we had is that, you know, we did everything that we needed to help our parents out. But more than that, we all had dreams, big dreams. And here's the thing. Something about growing up in Charlene, man, there's no place like that. You learn early that success isn't a destination. It's a journey paved with grit and resistance. But to be honest, success for me was always a fight. But what I learned, if you fight hard enough, you will stop surviving and start shaping your life. I'm going to ask this question. Have you ever had ambition that outweighed your bank account? Many of you have, and I'm sure. And that's what it's about, because that's where it starts. We say in the Caribbean, you know, Caribbean people love to hustle. Or even just to say black people love to hustle. But what does that mean? It means our hustle is deeply rooted in our ancestry. My grandmother, bless her soul, she passed away this year, farmed land and sold the produce she grew. She was an entrepreneur. My mother baked cakes, even bullock cakes she baked. Worked at the slaughterhouse, worked as a helper, and never asked for applause. This is not new to us. Adaptability is in our blood. We turn every challenge into a skill, every setback into strategy. In Kingston, she stirs the pot at dawn, checks homework by noon, balances receipt by night, and lifts her eyes to the heaven in between. That's not just a cook shop owner. That's a CEO in heels and hustle. In Guyana, the fisherman isn't casting nets. He's calculating margins and forecasting market demands. That's a chief operating officer in a three-piece suit on K Street. In Barbados, the carnival vendor, or in Trinidad, that's selling flags and water. He's a brand strategist with rhythm in his blood. This is just because they're not transplanted. Maybe that's what we would have been. But we have all this, in us. But we also inherited something that's different. A scarcity mindset. We were taught to hustle hard, but not always to scale. We know how to work hard, but not always how to build wealth. Let me say this clearly. Hustling is noble, but hustling forever should never be the goal. We've mastered the hustle. Now it's time to create the blueprint. Hustle must mature. Hustle with no vision is just exhaustion. Hustle must become enterprise. Enterprise must become empowerment. And that's the path to legacy. From survival to structure, from daily grind to generational wealth. That's what we're trying to build. From grit to glory. This is what the Grit2Glory Movement is about. Now let's talk about the turning point in my life. My entry into college. I got accepted to the University of the West Indies. Sheldon and I got in the same time. But at that time I had no plan. I had no money. My parents didn't have any money. There was no safety net. But I had a mother. And sometimes one believer is all you need. She packed my bag when I had doubts and took me across the country to the University of the West Indies 3 weeks late. Upon reaching admission, they said to me, Mr. Hamilton, you're way too late. There's no space for you. But we can put you on the waiting list. And my mom said, we wait. Every day for 2 weeks, she traveled from Spanish Town, Ensom City. 2 buses and a 2-mile walk. 2 buses and a 2-mile walk every day for 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, the dean of the faculty called her to say, Mrs. Mackenzie, we have a space for your son. And she called me and she said, can you come up to the school right now? So if you realize the 2 weeks I was actually at home watching TV. because I thought, oh, she's just wasting her time. Little I knew. The dean of the faculty said, I want to talk to him myself. When I went there, he said, I didn't give you the position because of you. I gave you because of your mom. And she was here every day fighting for you. And he said, if you fail, I will personally deal with you myself. So I understand that that was a real threat, and the dean will destroy me if I don't do well. But at that point, I had a realization that failure was not an option. I realized that I wasn't doing it for myself. This was a mother that's actually stopped going to school when she was 13 years old. She wanted the education for her son that she didn't get. She knew I was first up for my family. So I wasn't doing it for myself, I was doing it for them. I was also doing it for my community because I was the first of my community to go to the University of the West Indies. So there's a lot of things hinge on my success. What I had, really, to be honest, was something that was special and magnificent. I had a mother that never gave up on me, that believed in me before I believed in myself. I call her my superhero. Now let me pause here and say this. Some of you here tonight are here because someone else believed in you. And that's what we all to look for. Maybe it's your parents, a teacher, a pastor, someone. You owe them more than gratitude. You owe them elevation. When you rise, take others with you. And I say it again, when you rise, take others with you. That's what the Grit2Glory movement is about. When I migrated to the UK first and then to the US, I carried a few things with me. I carried Jamaica with me. It wasn't only a passport, but also in my posture, in my voice, in my values. I also brought grit from Charlene. I'll be real with you. There were walls that I had to climb. How I speak, my skin color, or skin color. Industry norms were always by my side. I was often the only one that looked like me in most rooms. Sometimes overlooked, sometimes underestimated, but never unprepared. And brick by brick, I built my climb. I let my results silence every room that I walk in. From a customer service agent at a magazine company when I was in London, to a site engineer doing renovation with a contractor, to a junior engineer at Tucker's Consultancy, to a senior engineer at Holly Incorporated in Europe, to the first black principal in the Smith Group DC office with Rennie. And this guy here, when I was made principal, I didn't know I was the first black person that had made principal in the Smith Group that's 100 and almost 200 years company. He pulled me aside and said, Gary, come here for a second. I want to tell you something. He said, do you know that you're the first black person that actually go beyond associate and be a principal? I didn't know. I didn't know silently. You know, I'm fighting battles, you know, to lead and leaving door for people like me, you know, to come along. And when I was part of that room, I understand. Because many people have their support system and people who are rallying for them and support for them when they're in that room. And that I did. I made sure that before I left, there was also another Jamaican, Dayton, that was principal, because I was in that room fighting for people who look like me to elevate. So as I said, when you rise, make sure you bring someone with you. But let it be clear, that title was not the win for me. Impact is, and always is. I didn't rise to feel superior to my peer. I rose so others could see that it's possible. We don't belong, we just don't belong in these rooms. We were born for these rooms. That's what the Grit2Glory movement is about. Now, I'm going to talk about something that's a step, so not only that I did all this and stuff and everything, but also I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm going to tell you how it's all started. I said I wanted to get into real estate. I didn't know how to. But what I did, I said, you know what? I put out a plan and I said, I want to build an apartment complex. Didn't know how I was going to do it. But I knew I wanted to do it back home. My first apartment complex that I built, I was laid off of a job, level 3 communication in the UK. And they pay me 1 year salary. And I got a job 3 weeks after they laid me off. So I'm like, this is gravy for me. They're paying me twice. I'm like, okay, so that investment, I actually used it just to buy a piece of land in Savlamar and started a building. And to be honest, when I brought it out the foundation, I didn't really understand what that meant because all the money was finished very quickly. But you always have to have dreams. And I was relentless. I did whatever I can do, and it resulted in my first apartment complex. I called it Hamilton Estate. Now this part matters deeply. While climbing in the US, I was planting seeds in Jamaica. That's what this means. Seeds of impact, seeds of opportunity, seeds of legacy. I remember dreaming about investing, like in real estate, but I know it's not going to be easy. So doing my first apartment was actually the hardest thing I've ever done. I had the dream, then I built the plan, I gathered the funds as I said, but there were setbacks. Unfair contractors, delays, stress. Even my friends, who I thought was my friends, was robbing me. It was tough, it's just what it is. But eventually, you have to complete it. It's 8 units, 4 2-bedrooms and 4 1-bedrooms. That became my first source of residual income. This project, I call it a love letter to possibility. That's exactly what I called it at that time. But it also gave me confidence. And 3 years later, I said I wanted more. A friend of mine said to me, why are you invested in Savlamar? That's the country. You're not going to make any money off that. But my answer was, because it's home. Because my people deserve quality housing. Because investing is not only about the return, it's also about responsibility. A friend of mine brought the attention of an unfinished apartment at the time. It was 3 years after I finished the first one. I negotiated hard and bought it. I actually expanded. It was initially designed to be 8 unit. I expanded to 12 units. And Brian, you better believe it or not, I did the architectural plan myself and got it approved by the local authority. Couldn't afford it. I didn't want to pay an architect because people like Brian were too expensive. And suddenly, I toiled and built. And now I had 20 residential units in my hometown. Teachers, doctors, public servants, and family, all living with dignity and affordability. Tell you something, my property manager now, a young man who was part of a gang, he was shot twice. But he was very skilled. He did all the welding and all the grills in my building. I saw that he was talented and had the potential. I took him under my wings, gave him opportunity. He now lived at my building. He takes care of my building. He has his welding business. He actually just started his own apartment building. He owns those cars, sends his kids to college. This is the same kid who was shot twice and was part of a gang. So sometimes you only need to give someone a chance. That is full circle legacy. So where do I go next? 10 years later, I wanted to take my real estate investment to the next level. I was given an opportunity, and I'm going to say to you that when you said your network is your net worth, it's true. And when you treat people good, good will always come back to you. I wanted to invest in I have a group of friends actually that had a real estate company called Grit2Glory Jamaica Limited. And one of the partners weren't holding his weight. And the managing director was a good friend of mine that we played football together in the UK. And I took care of him when he was there. Came to my house every Sunday for dinner and to play football. And he called me and said, I have a real opportunity for you. I wanted to join this company. And I bought in 25% as a director in Grit2Glory Limited. We've just completed our headquarter building called Grit2Glory Professional Suite, a 4-story building with 2 underground parking, 218 Mountain View Avenue in Kingston. And we're actually halfway through the construction of a 50-unit apartment in Vineyard Town that we actually started to sell at $35 million, which is $220,000 US per unit, 2-bedroom, 1,000 unit. Every sale is a statement that you can do big things in the Caribbean. And that's something that I want to implore on you. It's not only here. There's real investments and real gains in the Caribbean. How many of you have thought about investing back home? I'm sure it's many. What's stopping you? It can be done. And trust me, it's very lucrative. But I wasn't done here. I also bought into a private equity company called Equity Capital Management Limited. And they actually manage 45 million US in assets and invested across many portfolios. Healthcare, financial service, real estate, and technology. But this for me was a passion move. Healthcare is my passion. And I believe that Jamaica needed a stronger private healthcare system. So my partnership with Equity actually helped me to bring private healthcare to a better state in Jamaica. We actually purchased 2 hospitals, Royal Medical Center and Winchester Medical Center. 2 hospitals in Jamaica that we're actually pushing to convert to first-class, first-world medical centers in Jamaica. That's how you leverage your position abroad to lift your homeland. And this is what dual legacy looks like. So let me share the formula. I call it from hustle to legacy. First, you must cultivate a vision. See beyond the present. If you can see it, you can build it. Secondly, you must embrace strategy. Don't just hustle, structure it. Protect your assets. Understand your numbers. Thirdly, you have to bring people with you, because people is needed to scale. Don't climb alone. Your network is your fuel. Fourth, stay rooted in your values. Never forget where you came from. Let humility guide your elevation. And fifth, surely not the last, give back, always. Pay it forward. Legacy is about impact. It's not what you take, it's what you leave. And I say that again. It's not what you take, it's what you leave. Legacy is actually a team sport. So I want you to hear this clearly. You're not just building a side hustle. You're building a blueprint. Some child is watching you. Your child might be watching you as you climb. Someone is learning from your grit. Someone will eat from the tree that you planted. Our legacy must be collective. We must build together. The diaspora, the Caribbean people, professionals, and grassroots, past and future. The Caribbean is one team, and that's what we should try to do. But because I'm in DC, I'm going to channel the great Martin Luther King. And I'm going to say, here's the dream. That one day our children will inherit companies, not just struggles. That they will speak with a Jamaican accent and be called visionary. That they won't have to migrate to thrive. O'Neill, you're teaching us that with Lauren. That our minds, our Caribbean minds, will be known worldwide. We're already doing this. We have the talent. We have the drive. We have the grit. And now we build legacy. My brothers and sisters, let us not shrink. Let us not play small. Let's not just hustle without vision. Let us build. Let us own. Let us mentor. Let us elevate. From the dirt roads of Charlene to the boardrooms of Washington, D.C., from the streets of Sablamar to the suites of Vineyard Town. Let the world know that we came from the hustle, but we're building legacy. I rose from grit, but now I'm standing in glory. I'm standing with you all. Let us rise from grit to glory. Thank you.